you sweet enough, make you wanna move.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rodney Lloyd Scott, and I'm the director of this piece, and this is my associate director.
Marina Love Chavez.
A few things. I just want you to know that we here at Elac, we compete. Each year we send our students to the festival to compete at the Kennedy Center American College Theater Festival Regionals. And you're about to see our students work, and I appreciate it. But with that being said, we need your help. And if you could donate anything after the show, we got a little box out there. Please help our students go to next year's festival. Just to let you know what we do, in the last 7-8 years, we probably won more Kennedy Center Design Awards than any other college and university in our region. Just last year, we brought home 5 awards. So.
In the case of an emergency, please use the exits up these 2 stairs or these 2 exits down here by the stage. Take this time to silence all cell phones for the audience around you and the actors on stage. There's no photography or video recording allowed. And there is a 15-minute intermission, so enjoy the show.
1821, the African Grove. A place where black folks, Negroes got their party on. They came from all over, dressed to impress. That's right, 1821. These was free Negroes. It was a place where some of the greatest actors in America hung out after the plays put on by the African company. On any given night, you might find James Hewlett there, although he didn't always like the mix. You see, he's our star. Shoot, our Aldridge might be found in the crowd. And let's not forget Ann Johnson and Sarah. Boy, did they know how to play some queens. Today we would call them real sisters. Well, this is 1821, where a former slave had enough money to buy a property to build them all a theater on Mercer Street. Mr. William Henry Brown. I mean, this is right down the way from what we now call Manhattan. Crazy, I was still dealing with the same shit today they endured 202 years ago. Police arrested blacks, Negroes for no reason. And you better be careful, because just like George Floyd, you might find yourself with a knee on your neck. Look at those constables thinking they belong. What gives them the right to think they could dance with our women? Papa Shakespeare, he ain't never bowed down to none of them. He's the one beating on that drum. You saw him earlier, throwing those bones. He already knows what's gonna happen. He done seen the future. We wear the mask that grins and smiles. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay the human guile with corn and bleeding hearts. We smile and mild with myriad souls. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Hey, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, oh great Christ, our cries. To thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but all the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask. Paul Lawrence Dunbar, 1895. And this is the African Grove.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Stephen Price. I am the manager of the Park Theater. I have been so since 1809, and now tonight, it is my burden to tell you on behalf of the proprietors, Johns, Astor, and Beekman, how deeply we regret this unfortunate delay in tonight's performance. I am here to assure you that disturbance outside is fully under control. The constable has informed me that the culprits who caused this riot are locked inside the Eldridge Street jailhouse and will not be released until they swear in blank verse never to play Shakespeare again. Perhaps some of you think these deliberations harsh, but the performance of this Black Richard right next door in the City Hotel was meant to be a direct affront and challenge to the Park Theater. The African company thought it was throwing down the gauntlet, slapping the theater in the face, reproducing this great play we present for you tonight as a cheap spectacle and a tasteless novelty. Ladies and gentlemen, understand me. We live in a country that is young and wild and doesn't even know its own thoughts. But in here, the lights through which you see me are the brand new patent oil lamps hung in 3 chandeliers with 15 lights in every one. There are 2,600 seats in here, and the gallery is as big as a barn. In here, in the Park Theater, the show starts on time. We bring before you some of the greatest actors of our age, the stars and darlings of the English stage. George Cooke, Henry Wallach, Edmund Kean, Tom Cooper, and tonight, for the first time in America, this curtain will rise on the tragedy of King Richard III with Junius Brutus Booth. Not ungreat achievements for a theater in a country not yet 50 years of age. There are those of you up there in the 3rd tier, prostitutes soliciting customers, fingersmiths picking through people's pockets, you people from the country with your apple cores and your pippin and cabbages in your trousers just ready to discharge on the heads of the poor people down here in the pit. I want you to look underneath this arch and through these portals down here on these boards and see for yourselves that anything is possible, that success can be yours, that the future is only a football away. And you Negroes up there in the gallery, free men and women in an America full of slaves and slavery, even you must see that something splendid is happening here. These imitative performances of the African company were an ungrateful arrogance. But I assure you, ladies and gentlemen, it will never happen again. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for your pleasure, the Park Theater presents The Tragedy of King Richard III.
Takes the place of the music? How does counting take the place of the music? Well, I'll tell you, Sarah. By the way you counting, that's some mighty funny music. Where you learn this dance at? What you call it again, Sarah?
Waltz. It's a waltz, honey. Miss Van Dam teaches me today. That's what I was doing at work today. I was waltzing.
And what was you waltzing with, Sarah? Mopping a broom?
No, I was waltzing with Mrs. Van Dam. Lord, child, that woman is crazy. She liked to drive me out my natural mind. She got nothing to do all day but follow me around the house. She called herself helping me. Let us cook dinner, Sarah, she says. Do you think we should wash the windows? Why don't we dust the sitting room? And then she just sits there, watching me work, talking and talking and talking herself blue in the face. The whole thing is so lonely. Today, she told me how she and Mr. Van Dam went to this great big ball and how they waltzed. I said, what's a waltz? She said, no, Sarah dear, waltz. So I asked her, how do it go? And before you know it, honey, there I was in the sitting room dancing with Mrs. Van Dam.
Well, speaking of dancing, you wasn't at the African Grove after the play last night, was you?
No. How? What happened?
Folks was out strolling as usual, walking out sedately like, sashaying up and down the African Grove like, Them Negroes thought they was kings, queens, dukes, or duchesses or something. But Shakespeare come out and make them step out them Sunday attitudes, pounding that drum of his, slapping on that thing like there was no tomorrow.
Shakespeare? That old fool. He was drunk, wasn't he?
No, he wasn't drunk, but he was reeling, honey. He had his neck down and his head cocked to the side with the shoulders rolled back like so. Ba-ba boom da doom, ba-ba boom da doom, ba-ba boom da doom, ba-ba boom. Our whites was as red as cowpeas and his eyeballs were rolling back in his head. And he was a swaying, abba boom, abba boom, abba boom. Sarah, it was like he stepped out of life itself and was looking around at it. Like it was a dream he was dreaming. Them Negroes before prancing up and down like a flock of peacocks started to trip and stumble. And it seemed like the only thing that kept him from falling down was the sound of Shakespeare's drums. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. And just like that, folks started dancing. Dancing like they was running from death. Dancing all wild like.
That old Shakespeare is a fool, I tell you. Throwing them bones, riding around, talking crazy, talking that talk, what he called African talk. People be afraid of that old man, you know, with his garlic bulbs and black cat bone. Scare people to death. A lot of them people's just ignorant. Some of them just come up from slavery. Some of them ain't nothing but Africans just off the boat from out the jungle. People like that. That crazy old man gets them people all excited.
Still, that ain't no reason for the constable man to come up and try to take up Shakespeare's drum. Come talking about, cut out all that noise or I'll lock you up. Stop that darn music. Ha! Shakespeare didn't even hear that man. He just kept on playing. And then people just kept on dancing. But when you raised his club to hit on Papa Shakespeare's drum, Billy Brown jumped up and grabbed a hold of him.
Grab a hold of who?
The constable man. He grabbed a hold of the constable man.
No, he ain't lay his hands on no constable.
Looked him in his eye like I'm looking at you and told him, say, don't break that drum. That drum is all he has. He gonna stop playing it. Just don't hit that drum. Well, it got so quiet in there, you could hear a mosquito's wings flapping. And then, all of a sudden, it was like Billy had became invisible to that man. He just walked away from Billy like somebody had put a spell on him, started shouting and raising that club in the air. Nobody paying him no ever mind. Folks just started creeping off the streets like ghosts feeding into the shadows. And Papa Shakespeare, still there with his eyes rolled back in his head, pounding that drum of his.
They wild, Annie. They wild. Billy Brown and that Shakespeare is wild. And Shakespeare, he don't have but one lick of sense. Babbling like a nigga with all of his this and that and then where are you going and how come your father come not so? I believe he think he's saying something while they're mumbling and carrying on. They supposed to lock you up for drumming against the law.
What you're supposed to do is help your friend when trouble comes. That's what you're supposed to do. Jimmy, he ain't lift a finger.
Jimmy?
Jimmy and I was sitting underneath the big old poplar tree, just dangling our feet along, watching the whole thing. And he ain't moved yet.
Oh, so it's dang along with Jimmy now, is it?
Oh, Sarah, I like Jimmy. You know I do. But he can act so doggone highfalutin, talking his highflown fancy English. I will not be a part of that nonsense. Nonsense. Silly nigger nonsense. But that was nonsense with names. Names like Billy Brown and Shakespeare.
Jimmy was just acting sensible what it sounded like. And if you want to listen to me, you better off dangling with Jimmy Hewlett than with the wild lights of Billy Brown.
Hello.
That's him there now, ain't it? Hello, Jimmy.
Hello, Sarah. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Papa Shakespeare.
Hello, Annie. Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Shakespeare. How are you?
Oh, the body I well. And you, Sarah, how the body?
My body is my business, Shakespeare. Well, Jimmy Hewlett, you sure did yourself some play acting last night, didn't he, Annie?
He was all right.
All right.
And didn't he look good? Them girls were just up there clapping and shaking their handkerchiefs at him before he even said anything. I like the way that you be breathing heavy, lifting up your chest like it's about a bus, then there you go, just singing out, filling the room. And them girls don't care what he's saying, as long as he keep on talking. Ain't that right, Annie?
Now, Sarah, you don't stop that. You gonna make blackness blush.
And Jimmy know he doing it too. He having a good time. He step over here, and then he look so. Then he walk over here, and then he look again. Then he talk some with the audience, and he parade back like so. He walking like a hunchback, but he parading so. A horse, he say, a horse. Me ho, whoa for this horse.
Listen who's remembering lines.
How you say me don't know me line?
You may know him, but can nobody hardly understand that man Catesby in this play by the way you say him.
It don't matter how I talk. It's what I say what y'all want to be listening for. I can say them lines from Shakespeare so they make y'all weep.
Make who weep? Make me weep? What are you gonna make me weep over? Make me weep reciting? No, you ain't gonna make me weep. Not by reciting you ain't. Why you can't hardly even read?
Sarah!
Well, it's true. He don't understand what he's saying. He can't read.
Billy Brown, read them to me. Read them sailing board them pocketbooks. Black Bar and the London Liner. We did it all the time. How you think Billy get money to hire this whole house to be a theater? We got great big pockets in our coats. Oh yes, black man carry cargo too, you know. Billy carry this book of Shakespeare stories. And Billy read them to me. And he doing all of the parts. The kings and the queens and the little fairies and the Moors. Like that Moor Aaron, what got the white woman. And the prince from Morocco, we're trying to get the white woman. And Othello, what losing the white woman. I say, Jimmy, why my brother William always got to put the black man with the white woman? We better not do them stories in here.
Well, if you know him so good, how come you don't do Catesby that way? Go on. Let us hear you say some reciting.
I can say many things my brother William say. And say them so sweet, it be like them same sounds he was listening for when he wrote them down. But y'all just want to love to hear the way I say them. So no, I don't want to talk.
Sarah, you hurting Shakespeare's feelings. Not that Jimmy Hewlett would have anything to say on his behalf.
Annie, did I do something to upset you?
Not at all. I hadn't given you a thought until now.
Annie, you acting very peculiar.
I'm not acting. You're the one who's the actor.
And what's wrong with acting? Color folk act all the time. You and Sarah pretend you're maids. You even play the mothers to some other people cheering. We all charade the great role of the happy, obedient Negro advancing. What is that if it ain't acting?
And the whole world is the stage.
The whole time I was working as George Cook's manservant in his dresser, he could never tell if I was playing a part or not. Because as great as an actor as he was, he performed from night to night, while we perform all the time. I remember one night the old fool was playing King Lear. He didn't like Lear, could play him a villain, but it shook him in his bones to put on Lear's role. We were standing in the wings waiting on his cue, and he turns to me and he says, Hewlett, you a Negro. What's it like for you to suffer? Quick in my mind come what I really want to tell him. But instead I told him, I said, well, sir, we feel like we've been doing so much with so little for so long, we feel we can do anything with nothing. He looked at me and he thought about it for a while. And he laughed and he said, Hewlett, it's a damn shame they won't allow you to go out on that stage with me. You could be Lear's fool. You'd be perfect for the part. And I knew, he knew that was me out there underneath Lear's robe, while he bowed to applause for a Lear that he could never again be. A Lear that tore the whole house down.
Bravo, Jimmy, bravo. It be just like the paper say.
The paper?
Yes, girl, we in the paper.
We in the paper?
Ain't I say so?
Well, read it. Read it to us, man.
Hung be the heavens of black Shakespeare. In the upper apartments of the higher house on Mercer Street, some colored citizens of the city are demonstrating their native genius and the vigorousness of their imaginations with nightly presentations of William Shakespeare's Richard III.
Wait till Miss Van Dam hear this.
Mr. William Henry Brown, the proprietor mise en scene, has spared neither time nor expense in rendering these entertainments agreeable to ladies and gentlemen of color. How delighted would the Bard of Avon have been to see his royal Plantagenet performed by a fellow as black as the ace of spades. A dapper, woolly-headed waiter who served supper at the city hotel. The audience was of a riotous character who amused themselves with throwing crackers and ginger cakes on stage. Lady Anne was played by a lady named Anne, a lovely-looking negress who played the part with the royal rage it required. The person of Richard, performed with more than a plausible imitation, was on the whole histrionically correct. Several fashionable songs were sung with the most excellent taste and style, and except for the arrest of Catesby, who was taken by the watch, the affair was lawful and orderly. Moreover, this Sable group, which calls itself the African Company, has graciously cordoned off a partition in the back of their house for the accommodation of wives.
Ooh, that's the part I want to hear about.
This vexatious gallery has of late been overflowing by whites who come to criticize and ridicule, but remain to admire and cheer on these ebony interpretations of the bar.
Billy Brown, you sure got a lot of nerve.
Let me see that paper.
And Jimmy, you sure was right when you said colored folks will pack up in here to see a black king in a king's robe and crown, sword hanging off his hips, the velvet gloves on his hands, and the spurs on his boots, ringing an echo in the hall. A horse, my kingdom for a horse.
Was on the whole histrionically correct. A plausible imitation.
Don't pay that any mind, Jimmy. That man don't know what he's talking about. Sound to me, he just like the sound of the words he be writing.
Some fat, powder-faced Englishman can be an African Moor, but let the royal Plantagenet be as black as the ace of spades, and it's a plausible imitation.
Well, listen to you. Seems to me that just the other day you were just a woolly-headed waiter in here. You ain't the same Jimmy Hewlett I seen here come sneaking into America.
Sneaking into America.
Yeah, it was you. It was the first play acting I seen Jimmy do. He disguised himself as a sailor, sneaking off the boat to keep from going back to that sugar plantation. He say, no more sugar island for Jimmy Hewlett. No, sir. He practiced long time to get them white folk to think he no run away. But when I first seen him, disguised or not, he didn't look no more like a sailor than a jaybird looked like a duck.
I couldn't walk.
You couldn't walk. I was looking right at him. I said to myself, now there's a Negro trying to escape.
I guess you could see me coming with your eyes shut.
Had to teach him how to walk like a sailor with big beamy strides and short sturdy steps, like the ground might swell up underneath it like a giant rolling sea and knock you down. Walk like you free, straight up and tall, not looking around for nothing. And then I seen Jimmy become kind of a playwright creating the character of James Hewlett, a free Negro, born in Rockaway Island, New York City, a singer, Shakespearean imitator, disguised as a man servant in a way. Jimmy is tricky. You tricky, Jimmy. You tricky. You got people thinking you a man servant in a way.
The critic in this paper eats his supper in the same hotel where this little woolly-headed waiter works. Next time he wants his mutton pepper, I pepper it for him. I pepper it good and hot. And for Saturday night performance, we gonna show him how it goes so. Now, I thought this was supposed to be a rehearsal. Billy, you got the prompt book.
Yes, sir, Mr. Hewlett.
Give it to Sarah, please. I want you and Shakespeare to carry the coffin. Eddie,
Yes, Jimmy?
Act 1, Scene 2, all right? You're walking across this way from up here down. Now, you don't have to say obsequiously lament. Say, while I a while away lament.
Well, I a while away lament.
Right, and don't say untimely fall of virtuous Lancaster. Make it the untimely fall of this sweet man.
The untimely fall of this sweet man.
Good. Now remember, he's your father, who you love more than life, more than slaves love freedom, murdered, butchered for a whim. You walking behind his hearse slowly, quivering with grief so heavy you can barely stand up beneath it. You stop. Now tell the bears to set him down.
Set down. Set down your honorable load, if honor may be shrouded in a hearse, while I a while away lament the untimely fall of this sweet man.
Telling your back and dance for me. Very no paper and down for you. But yeah.
To be or not to be? That is what we must ask. Perhaps it is nobler in the art. No. In the mind? In the mind to seek riches and fortunes, and by.
Good evening, Constable.
Good evening. Oh, good evening, Mr. Price. I didn't see you there. Have you been standing there very long?
Long enough. Are you looking for a new profession, Constable?
Oh, no, sir, not me. I could never be an actor. No, I'd rather knock heads with the gangs in the 5 Points District than be on stage. Why, I'd be frightened to death standing up here at all those people looking at me.
Still, you seem to fancy the theater. Are you sure?
Oh, yes, sir, quite sure, sir. Although, I love your plays. Oh, I really do.
You do? Well, thank you, Constable, but they're not my plays. I simply put them on.
Just the same, sir, I do. And this play you put in on Saturday night, Richard III with that Brutus gentleman, oh, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Oh, I'm going to see it for free, you know. The Park Theatre is going to be my bait that night, sir.
You know the play?
Oh, yes, sir. I saw it right here on 3 different occasions. Oh, once with Mr. Cooper, another time with Mr. George Cook playing the part. Oh, it was great. And again with Mr. Kane. It was an old theatre before the foyer. That was my bait up there in the gallery. Buzzards roast, the collards call it. From that air, it certainly looks a long way away.
My, that must be a rather rough job up there, Constable.
Oh, they're rough and noisy lot, all right. But I managed to keep them in line. The gallery isn't bad. What's bad is after I leave the theatre. Oh, I've got the African Grove beat till midnight.
Just the same, I think you'll have your work cut out for you. We've sold every seat in the house, and the gallery, and the 3rd-tier pay at the door. There'll be a mob up there.
Oh, I think you'll have a quiet gallery that night, sir. They got their own black Richard noising up Mercer Street. The African Company, they call it. All the colors will be there, I suspect. I hear the other night, there were so many whites in there that they had to put up a partition in the back. Can you imagine that, sir? Making a partition for whites in the back of a Negro theater.
Yes, I read the reviews. I don't understand why you boys down at the station don't seem to want to nip that in the bud. This African Company strikes me as a situation that's prime for trouble.
You think so, sir?
I think so, Constable. I think so. I really do. Don't you? Events like this always seem to come with a certain amount of hysteria. People are excited, tickets are dear, lines are long, rumors and gossip abound. There's suspense on the streets. Anything can happen. Anything. The Park Theatre and the African Company doing Richard III on the same night. People are bound to associate the two, and that can lead to trouble.
That's what the watch is here for, sir. We'll see to it it's a quiet, pleasant evening. The African Company could never compete with the Park Theatre.
I don't care about the competition, Constable. Nor do I care about some poor, imitative inmates of the kitchens and pantries who are simply trying to entertain themselves. It's the peace that concerns me. A deeper, broader peace. That spot where you're standing.
Here, sir?
In the old Park Theatre, Constantine Leasoak stood right about where you're standing now, as Rosina, in the world premiere, the English version of Rossini's Barbara of Seville. Not the British or the American premiere, mind you, but the world. She was such a sweet singer, and it was such a sweet song. It was a moment where everyone from down in the pit, high up to the gallery, had a taste in their mouths of what greatness was. That's what a backwards country like ours needs to come into the world. Not spectacles, not disorder, not violence. I only wish the members of the African Company understood. I wish there were some way to impress upon them the importance of what we're doing here on Saturday night. If only they weren't so enthusiastic. I bet those poor fellows haven't even read up on their fire code and keep that place overcrowded or without enough exits. Or worse, it could be a hazard. Anything could happen. Anything.
I think I understand your maiden, sir. Maybe me and the fellows ought to take a look into it. Perhaps you're right, Mr. Price.
I am right, Constable. I know it.
Last night at Billy Brown's African Theater and the play King Richard III, I pretend to play a white man named William Catesby. And you know what happened? The constable man, he come and he take me away. They don't say what I do. Maybe they arrest me for bad acting. They locked me up in a cell in the Outreach Street jailhouse. Threw me in there with a blackbird and slave ship captain. Didn't give me no bread, no water, and all that for Catesby. Tiresome little man that they send around on errands everywhere for this man Gloucester. The King Richard III. He's a strange man, this man, King III. He's always standing there talking to himself. I mean, if you see a man there standing there talking to himself. Now is the winter of our discontentment, made glorious summer by the sun of York. I mean, you would say that this man is crazy, standing there talking to himself. And all the clouds that lowered over the house, and the deep ocean at the bottom buried. You would say, what is the matter with this man? He's sneaking about, rolling his eyes, looking round. And ain't nobody there? This the kind of thing for me madness. In the jailhouse, I had me a dream. And in my dream, I was dreaming when all of a sudden a great big ladder sprang up from nowhere, sat right down in the middle of the room, is standing up, straight up, sticking up through the roof, way up in the sky, right on up through the clouds. Now, I don't know where this ladder leading, so I wake me up. I don't want to be in this dream. I got a hard time enough being me. But I catch that devil being Catesby.
Oh, no, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. How this man killed my husband and my father, and now I'm supposed to love him and turn around and marry him over a lot of sweet talk? That don't make no sense. Then he kills the woman afterwards. What I ought to do is take a stick to him. That's the story that should be in there. I don't mind the parts where I call him a foul lump of deformity or when I cuss him down. That's when that story gets it right.
Good, Annie, good. You supposed to be that mad.
That's because I am mad. I don't want people going around thinking that I can go for such a thing.
Is that what you worried about? About people thinking you the same person as a part you playing in a play? Ain't it that's ridiculous? Nobody knows you're gonna believe you stand for that kind of foolishness.
I can't do what you asked me to do, Jimmy. I can't be such a slack of a woman as this lady Anne.
Annie, what's come over you? What's the matter all of a sudden? You were Lady Anne last night before, and the night before that.
And it makes me mad every one of them nights I have to act out such a huckasome woman as she is. Look what he say about her after she gone. Was every woman in this humor wooed? Was every woman in this humor won? I'll have her, but I won't keep her for long? Now what kind of mess is that? I gotta look out after myself. Ain't nobody taking care of me. I can't have people thinking that they can wound me and humor me and take advantage of me like that.
Well, try not to think about what you're saying. Just try thinking of the words.
What else would I be thinking of? It's the words what make me mad. It's what they about.
No, not the words and what they mean, but the sounds. The sounds they make in your ear. Like the huckster songs on the street. The woman on the corner selling hot soup. Peppery pot, all hot, make it back strong, make it live long, buy my peppery pot. Or the crab man, how he shout, Crabs, fresh Baltimore crabs. Put them in a pot with the lid on top. Here buy my Baltimore crabs. A good singing crab man will sell more crabs than one singing bag. It's just like singing a song. It's all rhythm and rhymes. Come on, Andy, please speak it with me. Fair than tongue and navy, let me have some patient leisure to excuse myself.
Foul hearts can think thee, thou canst make no excuse current when to hang thyself.
By such despair I should accuse myself.
And by despairing shalt thou stand excused for doing worthy vengeance on thyself, that does unworthy slaughter upon others?
Say that I slew them not.
Then say they were not slain. But dead they are, and devilish slayed by thee.
I did not kill your husband.
Why then he is alive.
Nay, he is dead and slain by Edward's hands.
In thy foul throat thou liest. Queen Margaret saw thy murderous falcon smoking from his blood.
I was provoked by her slanderous tongue.
Thou was provoked by thy bloody mind. Dost thou not kill this king?
I grant ye.
Grant me hedgehog. Then God grant me too. Thou wilt be damned for thy wicked deed.
The better for the king of heaven that hath him.
He is in heaven where thou shalt never come.
Let him thank me that helped to send him thither, for he was fitter for that place than earth.
And thou unfit for any place but hell.
Yes, one place else if you hear me name it.
Some dungeon.
Your bedchamber.
See, there you go again. That's the part that stings me. Any self-respecting woman would have pulled his eyes out and kick him where he couldn't be knocking on no bedchambers no more.
Annie, why'd you stop? You doing it all right. You supposed to be in a rage. That's what they said in the paper, remember? Lady Anne, played by a lady named Anne, with the royal rage it required.
That's required, all right? A regular royal rage.
Yes, and while you played with the rage it required, I was on it, histrionically correct, a plausible imitation. I don't see what you got to complain about.
Jimmy, it's hard for me. It just is. It ain't easy for me getting out of them people's houses every night. I gotta make up something every time someone's sick or dying, a cousin here or uncle there. How much longer can I take up that type of lying?
Annie, if those people was to turn you out, you can always get yourself another job. Nobody's gonna hire them Irishmen and them Germans who come flooding into New York every day to be no domestic. To be fashionably rich, the help has got to be black. In the last couple of nights, Billy Brown has paid you more money than those folks you work for pay you all week. You can always be a chambermaid or somebody's nanny. Where are you ever gonna be a queen? And not some servant, but right here, in this play, with the African company.
I don't know. I guess not never.
You telling me you don't like it? All the people looking up at you, admiring you. You don't get a chill up there, standing up there on that stage with all that applause falling down around you like warm summer rain.
Yeah, I like it, I guess.
And wearing that gown Sarah made for you. You look so pretty in that gown, Annie. So pretty. Me and all those people out there, we want you to be our queen. We see you. And we want to believe that you are our queen. So when they go back to them houses, they can wear them butler coats and footman uniforms and handmade outfits and dream. Dream of the lives that they could live and the roles they could play if they only had a part. If there was only a place and a way for them to do it. But you had a chance and you don't want to do it.
It's not that I don't want to do it. I just don't like that part. It makes no sense.
Annie, you're not telling me the truth.
The truth? What truth am I supposed to be telling? Ain't no truth in there for me.
Yes, there is. Only you in there biting when you otherwise wouldn't even be barking. This Anne, she ain't no different from Lady Anne. When that codfish, that aristocracy you housemaid for, does you wrong, do you holler? Do you throw up your hands with your apron clutched up in them and fling it down on the floor and tell them you ain't mopping and dusting and scrubbing no more? That you through sewing up old clothes and washing windows and cooking up codfish that look like a rich man's dinner? Do you? No, you don't. Because you know you got to take it easy. You're right to be mad, but you got to put a lid on that pot. You got to steam it down till it gets to be a taste you can swallow. Lady Anne, she's in that king's kingdom. Just like you in that man's house.
But he kills the woman's husband and father.
It's a play, Annie! You have to pretend!
Pretend? I don't know how to pretend. I don't have a husband. I don't know who my father is, nor my mother. There's just me. Every colored child comes into this world and ends up on a door in a basket on someone's doorstep. And if she's a little girl, when she starts looking like a woman, there will always be some King Richard who want to lay with her. And like they say in that story, they'll have us, but they won't keep us for long. And then baskets keep filling up with babies going from doorstep to doorstep to doorstep. Pretend? I don't know how to pretend to that. How do I pretend?
Then damn it, Annie, if you can't do it, then kill it. Act 1, Scene 2, take up the sword and just bleed out dreams all over the floor. Make me the slave dealer, the people breeder, the hairy chest, just breathing and heaving and humping all over your body. Pick a spot on my lung, lunge me with the knife, and listen to the ass suck out. Go ahead, kill it.
All right, dissembler. Though I wish thy death I would not be thy executioner.
Then bid me kill myself, and I would do it.
I have already.
That was in thy rage. Speak it again, and even with this word. This hand which for thy love did kill thy love shall for thy love kill a far truer love.
I would I knew that heart.
Tis bigger than my tongue.
I fear both are false.
Then never man was true.
Well, put up your sword.
Say that my peace is made.
Thou shalt go no hereafter.
But shall I live in hope?
Well, all men live, I hope so.
Vouchsafe to wear this ring.
To take is not to give.
Look how this ring encompassed thy finger. Even so thy breast encloseth my poor heart. Where both of them, for both of them are thine. And if thy poor devoted suppliant may, but beg one favor at thy gracious hand, thou dost confirm his happiness forever.
If my poor devoted suppliant did take my love, so he could be my love, and if that love be truer, if a ring on this finger can stop our dreams from bleeding on the floor, if I am to make you the hairy chest that humps and heaves and breathes all over my body, then you already have my favors, as you have my gracious hand.
Annie, what is that? That's not the next line.
It's not?
No, it's not.
Well, if I were Lady Anne, it would be the next line. I said it, didn't I? What do you have to say?
About what?
About what I just said.
Annie, it's not in the play. We supposed to talk about what's in the play.
You mean to tell me that the only thing that we have to talk about is in this play?
Well, yes, that's what we're doing here. We're rehearsing a play.
No, that's what you're doing, Jimmy. If this is all we have to talk about, then talk to yourself. Because this ain't no Lady Anne. This is Anne. This is me.
Annie, wait. Where you going? Annie, come back. Annie.
What exactly are you doing, Mr. Constable, man?
If you haven't noticed, I'm nailing up a sign. When I'm finished, you ought to be reading it. You can read, can't you?
What is all of this?
The fire chief, I must have warned you.
I ain't seen no fire chief.
Well, maybe he was up when he inspected this dump. Anyway, this place is a fire hazard. Too many seats, not enough exits, and besides, it's disorderly. I've had your friend here in my custody more than once. You'll have to do your little play somewhere else.
You need all them posters to tell us that?
No, these little leaflets are for the African Grove.
Not the African Grove.
Sure, why not the African Grove? Your nightly sarabands are too loud. Neighbors are complaining, keeping them up all night. You can thank your little friend there for some of that too. And that drama is air. I have one.
You love your work, don't you, Constable man?
I do, Brownie. I do. Now, you two best be watching yourselves, you hear me? Because I'm going to be keeping a sharp lookout on you.
Look at that one. He's not just doing his duty. Him all smiles and so.
Billy, Shakespeare, have you seen Annie?
No, we don't sing shit.
I got to find her.
Jimmy, you better read this.
This grove is closed till further notice. Hey, Billy, Papa Doc, it's not the end of the world. Sometimes a bad thing has a way of coming a good way round.
Good? What good there be in that?
Now that people's got nowhere to go, where they going? Rum shops like Douglas Club, Ike Hines, Johnny Johnson?
They call themselves tea garden clubs now.
They rum shops for Negroes to do nothing but drink toddies and talk nonsense. Listen, lots of colors up here got good jobs. boxers, jockeys. Remember, even I made some money reciting and singing. Negroes coming up from the plantations and the cotton fields. And they be tired of being in the woods. They wants to see the city. And they all don't want to go no tea-gun clubs. Don't you see? The African Grove is closed. But now they all can come see the African Theater.
Long as they don't make too much noise.
You better read this one too, Jimmy.
Due to civil discord, this theater is closed. Discord? Discord? It's the partitions. The partitions, that goddamn partition, putting the white people in the back. That's the nail that puts this paper up on the door. You went too far, Billy.
You was thinking it was a good idea at the time. You didn't mind them white folks watching you act until now. And where else they gonna sit? They can't mix. They can't sit up front. They don't come here week after week like the colored people do. Only reason they come at all because there's a partition for them to sit behind. They silly people, and they love novelty.
Novelty? Love novelty? It's no novelty to me. I don't care about your partitions and your novelty. What do I do with your novelty now? Here, they serve notice on your novelty.
Jimmy, Billy, can't y'all sleep for looking? African Grove closed up same day African Theater got locked on their doors. They all tie up. They putting their mark on we, like Conjure Man sprinkling brick dust and Johnny Roo cross your road. More doing here than talking stories. Y'all make people want think and think big. They're afraid of that, you know.
Yes, 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 Doctor. Richard III. That's what it is. Richard III and Junius Brutus Booth. That's why the African Grove is closed and the African Theater shut down.
What, Jimmy? What?
Saturday night. This Saturday coming, New Park Theater opens with a Shakespearean play. Oh, it's supposed to be a grand affair. And for the special occasion, they went and got themselves a fine English star, a famous actor, a renowned mimic named Booth. And the play he's playing in is the tragedy of King Richard III.
Same as we.
Ah, I see.
How can this Richard be serious with the same words coming out of my mouth, with a black man across town playing his white king?
They don't want two Richards. They must only have one.
I see. Now, Jimmy, don't fit me now, but listen. This ain't the only place we can have a play. There's other places we can have a play.
Where?
Down the road, where you work in the city hotel. They got a big ballroom now, so.
They got to.
They hire him out to a Negro.
If that Negro got money.
Then we doing our Richard III and one in there.
But Billy, the city hotel is right next door to the Park Theater.
Yes, Jimmy, I know.
Ah, yes.
You hear them mans talking at it? They get ready to mix us up in some mess, and they ain't even ask us. Don't even want to know what we think. Supposing old Van Dam was to find out and spend my nights locked up in some jailhouse somewhere, why'd I lose my job? How? What's the matter with you, Annie? You looking so low. Oh, are you having trouble with Jimmy?
I don't understand Jimmy. I tell him it makes no sense to me. And he's just waving his arms for me to go on and do it anyways. Trust me, he says. He want to teach me everything, but don't want to teach me that, how to trust him. It's mean, Sarah. It's mean. He put words in my mouth half the time I can hardly even say. And I have to say them so fast, and they're going through my mind so quick it makes me dizzy. And then fixing my arms or which types of ways, if I was a doll, a broom, or something. And I try, Sarah. I try. I try to make my R's rounder and my S's hiss and my P's and B's pop and pound like he tell me to. But I just don't feel it. I don't. It isn't me.
Well, now, girl, it seems to me like half of your troubles come from you having so much willingness to learn.
Say what?
You heard me. Wax ain't close up your ears. You the one who's falling up behind that man.
Who falling behind who?
You, that's who. Bang your eyelashes over every little never nothing he say. Get on out from here, girl. You know I know. You just love that fancy talking man, that's all.
It makes me mad, Sarah. It makes me mad.
And he knows it too. Knows you crazy about him.
I'm not gonna do it.
Well, All I gotta say is, in my last life, I was nothing but an old slave. And I tell you one thing, I had to have me a master, it's true. But I made up my mind early. There wasn't gonna be but one of them. Nothing or nobody was gonna control me less than I could help it, especially no man. Annie, what is it you say you're not gonna do?
I'm not gonna be in this play.
You're not gonna be in a play? What do you mean you're not gonna be in a play?
There ain't gonna be no Lady Anne. If he wants to woo someone, let him woo the wind. Let him talk his sweet nothings to the air and shadows, because I'm not gonna be there.
But Annie, now think. You gotta do the show now. What about all the people coming up from down the Battery? Taking the ferry out from Rockaway. Folks coming up from way up Greenwich Village have to walk back through the woods in the dark. Getting all dressed up. Fellas in their wide pantaloons with a red ribbon and a bunch of pinchbacks still around their coat collar. The ladies in their linen dresses and leghorn hats, kid slippers and ridicule on their yarn. Shoot, girl. Then people have to have some place where they can gather, gossip, tell stories, whatever. Now the African Grove is closed. There ain't nowhere else to go. Oh, you gotta do the play, honey.
Don't sway me that way, Sarah. I feel this too deep.
Knowledge is suffering. It's painful, Annie. We all know that from birth. But what are you gonna do? Leave off of here because you're pride?
Where do you see any pride in me? I hardly know my own mind, whereas I'm thinking about this man all the time. Seeing his face, hearing his voice, smelling him. Where's the pride? My pride is already punishing me.
Oh, baby. Baby, don't wear your burden so loud.
I can't help it.
Put some softness around your sweetheart. Don't waste your young world away pining soul.
I can't help it, Sarah. I can't. It's what I need, what hurts me. I want to feel some firmness in this hand of mine. I want to feel sweat on a skin I could depend on. I want someone with me in this life, and I'm going to hurt until I get it. I'm not doing no play acting.
No, Annie, no.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not.
In the islands where I come from, there is still slavery there. My master there, he called me Shakespeare so to mock me, cause I don't speak the way he do. He laugh, he say me proud be wrinkled, so to mark me hard for thinking. But I say, this man, he no wise, he don't hear me thinking in me own way. He don't see the one he named Shakespeare. He don't see, but I remember the forest and all the rivers that come down to the lagoon. And among the mangroves and all along the seaside, I can hear them people talking. And man like my master come and take them away on ships and make them slaves. But still I hear them, even now I hear them. They mouths and they tongues, they go knocking and rolling, they go. I hear them, they're in my head and will be there so as long as I remember. Where I come from, the book is a living man. And we must all read from what he say. It's more hard for a man to lie in a book, because we see him every day, we know what he does and see where he goes. Everywhere them boys, they come from far. From Barbados, St. Lucia, Tortola, John Islands, from all around. And what they hear when they come to the towns, they must listen to the one who can tell them what the white man is saying. This one who tell them so, he named Griot. I say Griot. Sometimes when this man over here wishes to speak to that man over there, each one speaks to the griot, and the griot tells one what the other one is saying. Like so. This man say, Griot, I stay slow, snake like dog, why he chasing my wife? And the griot say to that man, this man say he knows that your love for him is great, but must you love your wife so greatly as well? And that man say, Griot, tell this man that only a fool could love so ugly and fish-faced woman as his wife. And then the griot tell this man, that man say he only loves your beautiful wife out of the great love and respect he has for ya. This is the way the griot works. This is what he does. If Shakespeare was a black man, he would be a griot. So I say, though my master mock me, it be no mock to me. Oh, Sarah. How the body, Sarah?
My body is fine, Shakespeare.
What you got there, Sarah? What you doing with all them bundles, so?
This bundle, the costume stuff is in this bundle. I lug this thing all the way uptown, trying not to drag him across these filthy streets. Lord, this is one slag place, this New York City. The stagecoach going to Greenwich Village splattered mud on me. The boy carrying his bucket from the corner pump splashed water on me. And I almost trapped over the hog eating trash in the street.
What you got there, that bundle you so careful, so?
I got me some tinsel to trim the drapery and some new leggings for Jimmy. How you like these?
Ooh, Jimmy gonna look plenty nice in them.
Then there's these rags and tatters to patch up things. Here's a brand new bonnet for Annie.
Ooh, Annie gonna look too nice on that topper.
Right, and how about this hand-me-down Sunday go-to me in pigeon tail coat for Mr. Catesby?
Ah, Sarah, that's too nice. What for you go and do a thing like this, huh, Sarah?
Well, you was looking kind of shabby, Shakespeare. So, I say to myself, being that it is a big night and all, I was gonna see if I could rummage up a new coat for the fellow Catesby.
Ooh, look at me now. Now I can run around on me errands looking like I'm supposed to. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, Sarah, I say, it be like the Bible say. Y'all reap what you sow. They try to shut us down because the constable man say due to fire and silver discord. But here we are now, performing the same show as he. And now they're gonna chew the soup they done swallow.
Yes, and I gotta give it to your boy Billy. That Negro got him a lot of nerve. First, he built a Negro theater and put the white folks in the back, and it ain't 2 nights since the constable man himself come and shut us down. And what Billy Brown do? Did he hire the grand ballroom of the hotel here?
Right next door to the man's theater.
I never thought I would ever see nothing like that before. Color man talking back to a white man? Shoot, where I come from, you been listening to Whiplash and chewing dry bone behind that kind of back talk. Oh, I almost forgot. I got us here these merino curtains from the hotel here for King Richard's new robe.
From this grand ballroom of this same hotel.
Yes, this grand ballroom, this same city hotel. You want to know how I got them?
Yes, I want to know how you got them drapers off the wall without nobody seeing you do so.
I didn't steal them. I ain't never stole nothing in my life. Mrs. Van Dam got it for me.
Miss Van Dam.
Yes, the old woman going to sneak out of the house to come see me play the queen, honey. She come all the way out from Bowling Green by herself. Try to hide herself there in the bag in the dark.
So that's the reason you walk away from me when I'm talking to you and go and leave the stage. To go talk to that man.
That wasn't no man. That was Mrs. Van Dam. She had on here this long coat, as hot as it was, and it was dragging all along the floor. She had on here this great, tall, stovepipe hat, come down nearly covering her eyes. So I looked, and I thought that was her. Now, her hat is so big that this little man behind her couldn't hardly see. He telling her, "Mister, will you remove your hat?" Little old Van Dam on it down on her head. She's so nervous, poor thing. She don't know what to do. That's when you say to me, what did you say to me again?
Madame, His Majesty does cost for you.
That's right. Well, my Majesty must have called, because I've gone and left the stage to go down there and see that little old Van Dam. I asked her, I said, "Mrs. Van Dam, what are you doing here?" And you know what she said to me? She said, "Oh, Sarah, I'm so sorry. I never knew you. You live in my house, and all day long you listen to my worries. I tell you all my confidences just because you won't talk back, and I don't know a thing about you." She said, "Sarah, what can I do for you? Anything." So I told her, I said if I could have some material, like the curtains hanging over the ballroom window of the city hotel, I could make a new robe for King Richard. She refused to leave, so I had to let her stay. So I sat her right down front. Lord, that was some sight to see. Little old Van Dam sitting there seeing black faces. She's so silly, she think that nobody can see that there's a woman in that man's clothes. I got back to the house that night, and there's Mrs. Van Dam in the sitting room with the needles and the thread and the scissors and the city hotel grand ballroom spread on the sitting room floor. She swears she coming here tonight to see me play the queen. Go sneak out dressed up like a man again. I sure hope she don't get in no trouble.
I can see you there now. The two of you. Miss Van Dam and ya, Sarah. You're the only one that got one name. They don't call you by your last name.
Last name? I ain't got no last name. Every last name I ever had belonged to somebody else. I suppose right now my last name would be Van Dam. Sarah Van Dam. Can you imagine? Lord Father Shakespeare, older people must do some strange things to you spiritually. I miss Georgia. That's one pretty land. But I'm glad I'm free, and now the old girl come and see me be a queen of the play.
And you know you do that Queen of England part good, Sarah.
Do you really think so, Shakespeare?
Oh, yes. I like best the part where I hear you saying, "Too long have I borne, you upbraidings and bitter scoffs. To those taunts I have oft endured. I'd rather be a country servant's maid than a great queen in this condition. To be baited and scored so. Something going right through me when I hear you saying that part, Sarah.
You know, you look good in that coat, Shakespeare.
No, I don't, Sarah. We don't have fun like y'all play acting Queen Elizabeth while me have me acting Catesby. Tiresome little man always running there and so.
Well, what part would you rather play?
Really say I go do more than Catesby now? Also in King Henry's Ghost, he says in Act 1 I'd be a soldier. Sir Brackenbury. But I don't see no one there who I can be. I'd rather have me own play.
And if you had your own play, Shakespeare, what kind of hero would you be in it?
I would be a character who is very big, as tall as 10 palm trees put together, as body like iron, as swift as lightning. When I turn around, everything swaying so. It be like Jimmy said, like Gulliver among the Lilliputians. In the morning, when I walk down to the seaside where I step in lagoons filled with fresh water, I bring a big machete with me to cut down the cane. Make me blood sacrifices on top of them wild green hills. I got all types of roots to make them people's body well. And every day I'm throwing them bones to see how they lay, to see the future. And what I see all the people, and their bodies well.
You look real good in that role, Shakespeare.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah, Shakespeare, where's Annie?
Where's Annie? We don't know where Annie is. What, you don't know how to find her? It's a wonder you even know she gone.
Gone? Where's she gone to?
Gone, Jimmy. She just gone. It don't matter to where she gone to, because it ain't a place where you're welcome. She gone. She not coming back. She not gonna be in this play. You gotta play your little King Richard all by yourself.
What's the matter with Annie?
Annie don't like that part she and Jimmy be doing together, you know.
Yes, but it's only a story in a play, Sarah.
It's not just a story to Annie. It's her feelings. Annie's feelings is what I'm talking about. You hurt that girl, Jimmy, and she loves you.
Sarah, I didn't mean no harm.
Still, harm is done. You don't know where to find her. Treat her like that after all she tried to do and help you with this theater. She don't hardly have no time for herself the way the white folks be working her, but she do it anyway. Why? For you. You ain't even much, no? She won't do no play acting in the beginning. She only doing it because that's what you want.
Sarah, we have to find her. Find her for me? Please, Sarah? Please?
I'll go look for her. I'll try to find her. But you're the one who's got to say something to her.
Shakespeare, you got the role? I've been looking for it everywhere.
How I look, Jimmy? Sarah's been up the whole night making it into life.
And what are you doing with it on? Take it off, give it to me.
Jimmy!
No, Jimmy. Back home how the cock crow. You don't hear him crow down there like you do know ya. And make a mind so you don't know what time to get up in the morning. You're sounding like some kind of cane boss, Jimmy. Words popping and cracking off your tongue like a whip. Here, take your robe. I'm going down behind Sarah. Don't want no more cane raising around near me now.
No.
But Annie, you gotta come back.
No.
Listen, Annie, listen to me.
No.
It's the best scene in the whole play. That's what the people come to see. Not just Jimmy, but you too, Annie. And Jimmy knows it. That's why he sent us everywhere trying to find you. Begging you. Annie, please come back.
Billy Brown, you're like a muslin curtain just hanging in front of a windowsill, light shining right through you. Jimmy ain't sent you. Jimmy don't even know you here. You ain't talking about Jimmy, you're talking about yourself.
No, Annie, no, believe me. It's Jimmy. It's Jimmy that wants you back. I mean, we all want you back.
I see you, Billy. You ain't fooling nobody. We heard you. Sarah and I both heard what you fixing to do. The only thing you need us for is to mix us up in it, tell the truth.
We can't let them people have their way with us and do nothing about it.
Yes, they do have their way with us and we can't do nothing about it. But that's the way it is with you, Billy. You always want to confront. Why? Why can't you pay them people no mind?
Pay them people no mind? I only wish. Is that how you see me, Annie? Always want to confront and use people? Is that all you see me for?
No, I ain't saying anything is wrong with you and the way you are. It's just, I don't know what I'm going to do for my own self.
I hate seeing so sorry, Annie. I guess you know best how to do for yourself. Me only saying, I wish you would join us in this thing, you know?
I don't know, Billy. I don't know.
What if I get Jimmy? He tell you himself he's sorry. How about that? That be okay?
Don't play with me, Billy. I'm nobody's little girl.
You crazy about you some Jimmy, huh? Ain't you, girl?
No more crazy than I am for toothache and body lice.
Why?
Why what?
Why Jimmy?
Why Jimmy? I don't know. Why does a rooster crow? Why does a wool hat make your head itch? What are you saying to me, Billy? Why are you asking me that? Are you? Oh. Oh, Billy. Oh, no. Billy, you know what gets me so mad? It's times when Jimmy don't even know I'm on this planet, and now here you come.
You don't have to say nothing.
Why now? You couldn't talk before?
You coming back with us or no?
I'm sorry, Billy. I didn't see it before, but I see it now. I do. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
Are you with us in this thing or no?
If you do this thing tonight, there ain't gonna be no African theater after that. So why do it?
When I was a boy, back down on the island, on the plantation working the cane fields, I see the overseer reading and writing in that book he carry around every day. And I'm wondering to myself, what the marks he making on that paper? And I watched the white man, and I watched him. After a while, he see me looking, so he showed me. I didn't know what the marks on that paper was, so he teach me. Papa Shakespeare, he was a young man then, but he knew things. Things he learned as a boy in Africa. He was the only one among us who could point out to the sea to where Africa was. When some were sick, he knew what herbs to make them well. When some of us died, a woman had a baby, or when we had to name the children, he knew what to do. While in the day, the overseer teach me how to read what it say in the book. Nighttime come, old Papa Doctor, he tell us the way things be. It ain't enough for you to say what you want when people can tell you how you can say them, and when you can say them, and where. Now, are you with us in this thing or no?
Now is the hour of our discontent, made glorious summer by the sun of York, and all the clouds that lowered over our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Where was that? Where was it? Saratoga. That was it. Saratoga, New York, in the ballroom of the United States Hotel. James Hewlett, vocalist and Shakespeare's proud representative, will now give an entertainment of dramatic exhibition and song. The room is very cold and still. The people, a sea of gray, expressionless faces, covering me with waves of coughing and shifting and squinting their eyes as if they would drown me. He's going to do Hamlet. He's going to do Hamlet. Some old powder face shouts. To be or not to be? That is the question. My mouth was like it was full of stones. And with every word I spoke, a stone fell to the floor. I couldn't hear myself speak. The very ass self seemed like it didn't want to come into me. Whether 'tis noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Then there came the laughter, pushed, forced out, coming at me, chasing me, running me down with laughter. But it was good somehow. Because you see, with every laugh, there grew a face. And so I smiled. Not a lot, but just a little. A small smile. Or to take up arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing in them. And then one of the faces stood up in his chair. Did you say by opossum in them? No. No, I said by opposing in them. Then that laughing face, so clear and so sure, told me what they all wanted me to do. They wanted me to sing. To sing the song Opossum up a gum tree. Do you know how it goes? Should I sing it for you? Sing it or else? Opossum up a gum tree, creepy slow. Rack on in me holler, down below. Pull opossum by a long tail, down he go. Rack him back and holler, nigga, down below. Pull opossum by him long tail, rack him, let him go. Get the janker, mama holler to the moon. Oh, he cunning nigga, oh, he poor raccoon.
Jimmy,
Here he is, enter Mr. William Henry Brown, our great proprietor, me so see, who makes Shakespeare into his great Negro revolt.
what is the matter with you, Jimmy?
What's the matter with me? What, you don't see? You don't see all those people out there? You don't see the constable and all his watchmen coming to see the African Richard?
What is this you talking about, Jimmy?
I'm talking about you, Billy. You, and how you killing the African theater.
Me killing the African theater?
Killing, breathing death on it like a plague. You knew damn well they was gonna shut us down. You knew it all along. And I think it's what you wanted from the first.
Many a times we've been shut down before. This some great mystery and tragedy to you? You ain't fooling nobody, Jimmy. You just want to keep play acting your Shakespeare.
My play actor Shakespeare got you far enough to act out your great Negro revolt. How come you the one get to say what we all should know? What we all should think? What we all should do? What you gonna do? Change the world with a play?
Listen, you complaining now. How? Why? What's the matter? You on the same street, in the same place? It ain't changed. It ain't changed, has it? You a nigger on Mercer Street, and you a nigger down here.
We don't have to do this. We don't have to do it.
It's already done. Been done a long time now.
Why are you doing this to me?
To you?
Yes, to me. Why are you doing this to me?
Tonight, people will know the whole story. They gonna know tonight what you know now. That we alone in this world with nobody but ourselves to turn loose on. That you and yourself make two, and there's really nobody else to take up on your cause. Play acting. What you get for your play acting, Jimmy?
I get to be loved and to be accepted, to be openly admired, to feel myself, to be full of myself, to breathe air and give it back again, to make myself as if I were clay, to press my fingers against me and give me shape. The makeup, the costumes, the robe, it's all glass that I know how to polish and make clear so that any man can see that I'm any man. You talk with such a twisted tongue, Billy. This isn't your African theater. It's ours. And with all this little bit of freedom we got here, Billy, where's mine? Where the hell is mine? Where?
You have it. It's there in your head, and in your heart, and in your hands. You got a mouth, it got a voice. You don't need no crowd clapping for you to know so. Tonight, there's gonna be more theater out on the cobblestones than in here looking at your Black Richard. Them what can't read can see. And when the constable men come, them what don't know gonna understand. You see, our Black Richard is a hit, you know. We telling everybody that our ways, our ideas, and our beliefs be just as good as theirs. These ain't no imitations. It's us. We. You say this is our African theater, then you are our Black Richard. What you wear, the way you speak, what you do, how you feel, this is what we come to see and hear. You are what we want. Give us imitations, and we be throwing apple cores and ginger cakes at you ourselves. Tonight, Jimmy, the air you be breathing gonna be full of sweat, dripping down your chest and trickling down the back of your neck. Thick air, Jimmy, but you can bite with your teeth and weave around with your hands. Forget what them fancy people think, them high-blowing elites, and say your Shakespeare like you want. Now, in the winter of our discontentment, May the glorious summer be this sun in New York. They gonna love it, Jimmy. They gonna love it.
Jimmy, Annie, she's just outside.
Annie,
She just stared outside. She said she can't come back unless she has a reason. Otherwise, she's just throwing away her pride. I told her, I said, don't worry, Jimmy will apologize to you. She wouldn't believe me. She said, no. So I told her, you told me so yourself. You said, go find the Papa Shakespeare and bring her back so I can apologize to her. Don't fuss, eh? She's coming now. Come, Annie. Here's Jimmy. He wants to speak to you. He is so excited to see you. He is speechless just now. He's getting ready to talk. Listen carefully. He's about to speak.
Annie,
Just see, what did I tell you? Now he's talking.
Annie, why did you run off like that? You put the play at risk.
He said that he was very worried when you left and he didn't know where you were.
The play. Put the play at risk? Is that all you think about is this damn play? I'll give you a play, all right.
She said, Jimmy, how she admires so much how dedicated you are.
You don't give one red penny about nobody's feelings.
Your generosity of spirit.
You ain't the only smart one.
Your wisdom.
You're selfish,
Your sacrifices.
overbearing, and arrogant.
That self-confidence you got.
And furthermore, I ain't doing no play. And if you think my bark is bigger than my bite, then you go ahead and just try to make me.
She's saying maybe she'll play Lady Anne tonight. She's only just thinking about it now. Why don't you say something to her? Go on, man. Clear your throat and talk.
Annie, what do you want me to say?
I didn't come back in here to hear you deliver me no riddles.
He's trying to tell you he's sorry.
Well, tell him to tell it then.
She said you're beating around the bush.
Look, Annie, how was I supposed to know?
He didn't know. How's that? He would have talked to you before, but he just didn't know.
Tell him. If he didn't have his head stuck way up in the clouds, he would know.
She says next time you should think more clearly.
All right. Annie, I'm sorry.
Does he really expect me to believe that?
You're not to talk a little more. You're not quite bringing her around.
She thinks I'm selfish. Ask her why she wasn't thinking of all those people coming to see their African Richard. Ask her that.
He says it's not true that he's a selfish man. He cares for people very much. You so more than others.
That's not what he said.
Yes, he did. I hear him plainly. He's telling you. He would tell you so himself, but his pride get in the way. And also, Jimmy.
Tell her I didn't mean to hurt her.
Tell her so yourself.
I didn't mean to hurt you, Annie. I'm sorry.
He says that his struggles will be too hard to bear without you. Look at his eyes. Listen to what he's saying. He loves you.
Jimmy Hewlett in love with who?
She says she's always hoped you did.
Is this true, Jimmy? What do you have to say?
He says, stop talking. You're embarrassing him. Come give him a hug. It be so.
Billy! A white man is here to see you.
A white man?
Yes, he say he run the park theater.
It's Price. Stephen Price.
Yes, that's the name, Price. He's over by the door waiting to come in.
Well, let him in, Sarah.
Mr. William Henry Brown, I presume.
Yes, sir. That's me, Billy Brown.
My name is Price, Stephen Price. I'm the manager of the Park Theater.
How do you do, sir?
I must congratulate you, Brown, on your fine work with the African Company.
Well, thank you, sir. But Jimmy here, he's our real star.
James Hewlett. Who would have thought? It's been a long time, James. Not since the day George Cook died.
Yes, sir. It's been a long time.
I read your reviews. You've become a fine actor. Remarkably good diction, and your pronunciation is quite good, really. You certainly made good use of your employ with old George as his manservant and dresser.
That's very kind of you, Mr. Price.
Nonsense. It's the truth. I understand you're a waiter in this hotel?
Yes, sir. I'm a waiter here.
The next time we supper here, we must remember to dine in your section. Mr. Brown, may I have a word?
Which word would you like, sir?
A word. A word with you. Mr. Brown, you have been fairly successful with your Richard. I don't suppose you do any other shows.
No, there's no other show. Just now, sir, People like our Richard just fine.
Well, you see, we change our shows regularly. Next door, we have a very famous English actor who has come all the way from England to perform at the Park Theatre. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. His name is Brutus. Julius Brutus Booth.
Brutus, sir? Like in Julius Caesar?
Yes, that's right. Like in Julius Caesar. You see, we have what we call an exclusive contract with Mr. Booth. That means that he performs at our theater only if we promise to bring him a broad public. This opening is very important. We want to thank him for coming all the way over here from England. The mayor will be there, the governor. Perhaps you've heard of James Fenimore Cooper or Washington Irving.
Sounds very nice, sir.
How many nights a week do you play in your Mercer Street house?
6 nights, sir.
6. That's many. That's a lot. And how many people do you get in there?
That's hard to say, sir.
Hard to say. The fire chief, who is my friend, tells me you squeezed 300 in there. You broke the fire code, and the constable had to come and shut you down. But I'll tell you what I'll do, Mr. Brown. I'm prepared right now to give you $200 a week to buy out your houses from tonight until our Richard closes.
That's most generous of you, sir. But I don't see how we can turn all them people away for only $200. As a businessman, I'm sure you understand, sir.
You're a very shrewd fellow, Brown. I like that. All right, $300. $300 a week. That's my best offer. What do you say?
Well, you see, Mr. Price, when I come to New York, I was already grown. Too old to go to color-free school around here, but my arithmetic is not so bad. The people that come to the African theater, there are people that can't afford to come to your theater. They only pay a quarter with us. And as you say, sir, people come 6 nights a week, and there are 300 chairs. $300 is just not quite fair, sir.
You drive a very hard bargain, Brown. 350.
Forgive me, sir, but I was thinking $400 would be very fair.
Look, don't play with me, Brown. What do you expect me to do? Guarantee your house? I wish I had $400 a week guaranteed and a good holiday. $375, and that's the top.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. You too kind, sir. A very generous offer. Thank you. Thank you very much. But I'm afraid we must keep our own Richard. You, of course, are welcome. And for no charge, sir.
I see. James, always good to see you again. Ladies. It's in your hands now, Mr. Brown. The bird and the bush. And as my King Richard would say, I urge you to set down the course. Good evening, gentlemen.
What does he mean, set down the course?
The course. He means the dead body of King Henry. It's from a line in the play. Villain, set down the course, or by St. Paul, I'll make a course of him that disobeys.
$375 is a lot of money, Billy. That man fixing to make some trouble.
Billy, Jimmy, what we gonna do?
We're gonna open the doors, Andy, and let the people in. And like our King Richard would say, shine out, fair son, till I've bought a glass, that I may see my shadow as I pass.
I come from the cane field and going to sea. Don't got no paper that say I'm a free man. So this sailor man and this captain, they shaking their purse, biting their corn, fixing to sell me to a slave dealer man for $500. Where this nigga from? Sailor man say. I don't want to tell him I come from a cane field boss. Captain say, this nigga don't want to tell us where he from, but he back strong. Slave man dealer say, I don't care where he from as long as he don't go to hell before I'm through. But I cut cane, and I know it's too dear. Black women dragging cane and cutting, children working in them fields, but it's too dear. On some farms, they breed people like dogs. They make the men be studs and the women be bitches. E2 did. Them steal away your past and cut you from your future. Make your blood into a purse to fill with gold and silver. E2 did. $200, $300, $350, $375, $400, $5. E2 did.
Oh, well, sir, Mr. Price, sir. Did you manage to talk any sense into them?
No, Constable, I'm afraid I did not.
Oh, no, sir. They're not going to go through with it.
Yes, Constable, I'm afraid they are.
You want me and the boys to go shut them down now?
No, wait a few minutes. Wait until the curtain rises and that Hewlett boy is in the middle of his little speech, and then I want you to go and pull him down from there. And don't just close it. I want them locked up.
I don't know how long you can keep them, sir. What law are they breaking?
What law are they breaking? The law of nature, man. People must listen to generosity and not scoff at it. We are not slave masters or slave catchers. These people are free. And the only reason they are is because of an invisible line called the 36th parallel and because politicians don't know what to do with them. But this is our world. We made it for ourselves. This isn't just any opening night. It's the opening night. The mayor, the governor, Cooper, Irving, the Washington Hall bunch, all of them, every bloody one of them will come riding up in their carriages to witness this bloody catastrophe. Booth won't even speak to me. Imagine that. How do you like your serious Shakespeare hosting a circus outside and a farce next door? The arrogance of him to put up his tent show next door to my theater. Will I offer him reasonable fees for a reasonable favor? I don't relish being made a fool of. Tonight, the curtain falls on Mr. Brown's little sable pageant, and they'll swear before whatever god they swear, never, never, never to play Shakespeare again. Or by heaven, they will never see the light of day.
Constable man, he out there. He and all his constabulary come taking up all the people's chairs. Standing over there in the corner by the darkness. Some is by the door there and the others is round the back. They all come to shut us down. They daring us so. We say one word of what my brother William say and they lock us up. Now y'all people come now y'all to see the play. And some come to see him not play. So the African theater is now giving 2 stories for the price of 1. And now all the characters will become real. The Black Richard, the Black Anne, the Queen Sarah, the Black Rivers, the Black Catesby. All gonna breathe air and live as y'all do. See him now, ya, if he not so. Ladies and gentlemen, the African Company presents The Tragedy of King Richard III. By my brother William Shakespeare. Act 1, Scene 1.
Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by the sun of York, and all the clouds that lowered upon our house, in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarms changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim visaged war have smoothed his wrinkled front, and now instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, He capers nimbly in a lady's chamber. To the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking glass. I, that am curtail of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world scarce have made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I haul by them. Why I, in this weak piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time, unless to see my shadow in the sun and descend on my own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain and hate the idle pleasures of these days.
Hello! Hey you there.
Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous, by drunken prophecies, libels, and
Did
schemes.
you hear me? I said come down from there.
And to
Girls,
set my
arrest.
brother Clarence and the king in deadly hate the one against the other.
None of your play acting hairs. This is a black hole.
And
I'll tell
if
you.
King ever be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous.
Stop it, I said. Did you
This
hear me?
day
There'll be
should
no more
Clarence
Shakespeare in here.
constantly be mewed up.
All right, move along. Everybody out.
About a prophecy which says, Gia, there was air.
This establishment is closed.
The murderer shall he.
Violation of the fire code.
Dive thoughts down to soul.
Civil disorder.
Here, Clarence Combs.
And you're making too much noise.
Here I am locked up in this jailhouse again. And it's so cramped up and dark in here.
I can't believe how they rushed us up in here. Make me mess up my dress. Talk about we breaking the law. Whose law is we breaking? That's what I want to know. Oh, Papa Shakespeare, did they get your drum?
No, Sarah, I had it hid under me coat. It's locked up in the jail cell with me.
Oh, thank the Lord for that, Shakespeare. Well, I guess old Van Dam gonna have to walk with somebody else, because we ain't gonna swear we ain't gonna do no Shakespeare, is we, Billy?
Sure, we gonna swear. Why not swear?
I can't believe that's you talking, Billy. You gonna swear? Swear what? Swear us into silence?
We can't do no Shakespeare here. You're damn right we gonna swear.
You swear then, because I ain't swearing to nothing.
Me neither.
Nor me neither.
We swear, Billy, and then we go do it anyway, and then they gonna stop us. We never have a chance. Even before we get started, they gonna stop us. How we gonna swear?
Huh? What's the matter with all you people? What, we gotta do Shakespeare like his mouth, the only mouth what speak? Cat have tongue too, you know. Tastes just as good as saying words from those who know who you are and those who don't know you at all.
And where are all these good tasting words coming from? What they gonna say?
And who's gonna be speaking them? Tell me that.
Sarah, do you see him down here? Do you see the constable man anywhere?
No, I don't see him. I don't see no constable man now.
Jimmy,
What do you want from me now, Billy?
here, have a look at this.
What is it, Jimmy?
It's a play.
A play? What play?
A play I wrote.
You, Billy Brown, you wrote a play?
Ain't I say so?
Y'all did it, Billy. Y'all did go write story about the same go people in the play.
Girl, the man gone and wrote himself a play. What do you call it, Billy? What is it about?
The drama of King Shotaware. It's about the insurrection of the Caribs on St. Vincent Island. It's about a king, Jimmy. A black Carib king. A wild, majestic lord robed in the muscles on his back. Tall and strong and quick as thunder. He carry a big machete, but it ain't for cutting down no cane. No, it ain't no sugar juice dripping down from his blade. It's blood, Jimmy. Blood. Way up there on top of Doshadrill Hill on St. Vincent Island. He bleed blood for his freedom. You see, it's them ones willing to sacrifice and suffer for what know it. Because them the ones who know what it is not to have it.
Read it to us, Jimmy. Read it.
King Shotaway says, "Behold these chains we wear, the shackles of our enslavers. The despotic English who mend these merry garments with the thread of your labor in your dreams, and your children hunger for those dreams. They are weak for want of desire, frail from wanting to see the face of a hero they could be. Blush in your shame, and break with these vestments of disgrace. Spurn them with your burning indignation. Rise up naked and extirpate these despots from your world. Restore yourselves, your wives, and your children to the inheritance of your ancestors, who inspire your fury and who show you the way. Those marvelous struggling spirits who suffer to you the air you breathe, who knit time for you to walk on, who give you stars to cover your body.